Well, the first day that we met Greg was a great day. We had a big turnout of individuals, many hungry people, many people very happy to see us. And we were handing out food like we normally do, and some clothing and hygiene products and things that we do. And out of nowhere, Greg comes walking up, and he happens to have a plate of chicken in his hand. And he approaches us, and he asks us if we would by chance want to taste his cooking. So I asked him, I said, "Where did you by chance cook this?" And he says, right down the block where I'm staying. And got chatting with him, and come to find out that him and his wife were living in their car. And he pulled...
Well, my name's Greg. I'm the executive chef at the Happy Camper food cart and coffee bar here in Portland. Became that way from meeting Scott and Julie from Off the Grid. But I was living on the streets, out of work. I worked at New Seasons as a chef there for 4 years. Lost my job there and was living the whole time I was working there. I was living in my truck and on the streets for the first 4 years.
Well, the first impression that I picked up from Greg is he's real. You know, you end up running across certain individuals out there on the streets. You know, you sense the instability of character. And when you think about the hard times that they face, living out on the street, trying to survive, you know, trying to make it another day, you know, you can kind of figure that if you find somebody that represents stability, you know, they've got something going on for themselves.
I was really angry at first, thinking, how could this happen to somebody that had been working solidly since I was 16. You know, I paid my taxes, did my job, was never in trouble with the law, you know, was never a lawbreaker, never went to jail, you know, just your typical working Joe. And I just couldn't figure out how this could happen to somebody.
After Greg and I had a long talk after he offered me that delicious chicken, he basically informed me during that conversation that he was a culinary graduate. You know, you never would have figured.
Yeah, about family. Yeah, my wife, Charlene, and her 2 sons, Daniel and Christopher, took over, like I said, when they were 5 and 10 years old. Great kids. Grew up to be really good adults. It's amazing how they got through the homelessness and the troubles that we had and became the people that they are now.
So as for Greg, you know, I felt as though that our meeting was meant to be.
I was really angry with God for a long time because I lost, excuse me. I lost my sister, my brother, and my dad within 14 months.
I felt as though that the Lord brought us to each other at the appropriate time, to where we just happened to start talking about Greg assisting the Happy Camper food cart become something and help generate some decent food, which at the time, before we met Greg, I hate to say it, but I was going to be, you know, probably one of the cooks. And I don't think we'd be getting the 5-star reviews that we get today because of Greg's awesome cooking.
I feel like just by us showing compassion and love for other individuals, we get so much more of that back too. It's not just, you know, we want to spread the word. We feel like these people really appreciate it.
Since I started this food cart, I haven't worked a day one. It's just all fun to me. It's just a blast. I'm glad I changed careers. I wish I would have done it back when I was 20, 30. I'm sure I'd have a couple of James Beard Awards and a Michelin star or two by now.
We happen to have a 32-foot fifth wheel on our property, and we invited Greg to come and stay with us on our property.
Thanks to Scott, I've got a nice trailer that I'm staying in. I'm off the street.
You know, the place is big enough that there's more than enough room for all of us, and you know, it's nice to know that we can share our property with somebody else that can really benefit from it, and you know, it's a good feeling.
It's unbelievable. It's really nice to have a door to shut behind you when you go home. You know, don't have to lock it, but I could if I wanted to. It's a really great feeling. You don't really can't understand the little things in life that you miss until they're gone. And like a bathroom, a sink to wash your hands in, a faucet to get a good drink of water out of.
Well, from my perspective, that's what Jesus wants us to do, okay? Jesus basically says to love your neighbor as yourself.
Every day there's new blessings. We get emails, we get phone calls, people saying, you know, I've heard about your ministry, I want to get involved, and it just, every time I hear somebody else that wants to help, that's a blessing.
Since I've met Scott and Julie, and I've come back to God full fold. Like you said, I was angry. I didn't get him out of my life, but I was angry with him, and because he had what I thought, you know. Come to look back, it was just testing me.